together in a new one. It's a zombie blunt.
Have you smoked from a toilet roll?
No.
Yeah, that's another one. That's
I feel like I didn't start smoking until I could like afford like an actual glass piece or something.
In Australia, we call them prison bongs. And basically, you get a toilet roll, and then you punch just a hole in it, and then you make out of aluminum foil. You make a little bowl in there, and then you put it in and light it, and put your hand over the end, and open as a big ass shotgun.
Little shoddy.
Interesting.
And that's your prison bong.
Hey girl, you trying to hit this?
Oh, you know exactly what I need. Hello. Welcome back to Two Girls, One Blunt. I'm Emily.
And I'm Jaime.
And today we have on a very special guest.
You're starting off great. Starting off strong.
We have a very special guest with us today. We have Jason Gann. He's an Australian actor, comedian, producer, writer. He started the show Wilfred, which was picked up in LA here. We'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I was just before I came on here, like sometimes when I smoke weed, if I want to have a really good experience, I'll say a little prayer to Mother Cannabis just before I have it. And I just said to help me, guide me to have the experience that I want. I do believe that cannabis has that entheogen ability to connect us with sort of higher consciousness to help guide the experience we want. But just before I came on, we were talking about Delta-8. I had smoked some Delta-8 and it was kind of like that. I thought to myself, well, who do I pray to here now? Because Delta-8 is from the hemp plant, which is male. So I have to say, Brother Hemp?
Brother Hemp.
Please help me have this experience.
Brother Hemp, we are setting the intention.
I had to get that out. I was thinking that, and I had to get that out. I'm sorry.
No, I like that.
I'm from the TV series Wilfred. That started as a short film about a bong-smoking dog who a man sees as a guy in a dog suit who the rest of the world sees as a real dog. So it's kind of like he's gone crazy. And
We're interrupting today's scheduled programming to introduce to you to today's sponsor, Freeze Pipe.
The coldest smoke, the smoothest hits. If you want to smoke but you hate when your lungs burn and you get into those coughing fits, you really should try out Freeze Pipe. They have a unique line of freezable pipes, bongs, bubblers, and more. Each piece is specifically engineered to cool smoke by over 300 degrees, so you're not hacking up a lung every time you take a hit.
The best.
I personally hate glass, but I love this shit. So, take it from me. Try it out.
We've been smoking all of these. This is all we've been smoking pretty much lately. Usually we smoke blunts, but the hits are just way too good. So make sure to check out Freeze Pipe's entire line of high quality glass at thefreezepipe.com and use code 2G1B for 10% off your order.
Hell yeah.
Again, you can find it at thefreezepipe.com and use 2G1B for 10% off your order. If you're a filthy stoner like us, you need to get one of these glass pieces. You will not regret it.
How'd you come up with that idea?
I was sleeping on my mate's sofa, smoking bongs, and he came home after a disaster date where, he came back and he got cock-blocked by this girl's dog that was sitting on a sofa in her bedroom. So we got all the way to the bedroom. And then this dog fucked up the gig, right? So he came home and told me about it. And so I just started putting a voice to this dog, interrogating him like De Niro in Meet the Parents and pulling bongs, offering him a bong. And we just straight away said, that's a short film. So we wrote it down.
That's amazing.
We shot it that weekend. This is 20 years ago now. And then within a couple of months, it was in festivals around the world. It was in Sundance.
You shot it in a whole weekend?
Yeah, 2 days we shot.
That's crazy.
Were you already producing films at this point?
Well, I'd been a theater actor for years. Did a lot of children's theater in a lot of animal suits like Wilfred, right? Which is really where I did the look for the character came, dudes smoking cigarettes, swearing while dressed as animals is kind of hilarious.
I love that.
So that informed that. But I was, even in the theater world, learning then that to make money, you needed to have a profile. And so I needed to get on TV. So that's when me and my buddy started making short films. And that was our third short film. Yeah.
Wow. How big was your team that helped make it all?
Well, that one was probably a team. We probably cost us 5K to make it. So the team there was probably, we shot on film. So it was probably 10 people there, that first one.
Wow.
And you just got it done.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And to look where you invested $5K and where you are right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
That's pretty freaking
And,
cool.
it's so weird. I had a best friend who's gone now, but he used to say to me when I was doing Wilfred, he'd say, Wilfred is what the world's going to know you for. And I'd say, are you kidding? No. He'd say, yeah, it is. And now here I am. I got a Wilfred cannabis brand.
Absolutely. Let's hear about that. You have it right in front of us.
Well, I was living here in LA, and I'd sold after Wilfred, during Wilfred and after Wilfred, I probably sold maybe 7 pilot scripts to networks and studios in Hollywood. And I thought each one of them should have been made. None of them were made. And I was getting frustrated. And I was always jealous of people like real estate agents that could just go and work wherever they want. I'm going to relocate. I couldn't. I was like prisoner to show business, Hollywood system.
Yeah.
Had to live in LA. And then I just had this idea, I did it. It's kind of like it started as a joke, kind of like Wilfred started as a joke. I just did this ad for my social media fans called Wilfred's Weed Delivery Service. And I was like, remember the dude from the show? Remember the dog? Well, that's what he's doing now. Yeah, that's right. The guy in the dog suit. He'll come to your house, and for an extra $100, he'll pull have a bowl on your sofa. Yeah, that's right. Remember the old days when your drug dealer didn't have any choice? These difficult choices that we have in dispensaries now. Well, those days are back because Wilfred's coming to your door. So.
Wait, so did you actually sit on people's sofas with them?
No, I just did it as a joke in social media.
Okay.
But the comments. Fans were saying, we're driving to California. We got to smoke Wilfred's weed. We got to, and that's when I was like, okay, if I can get the rights to this character, my character, there's something here. This could be like no other celebrity cannabis brand because I'm not just a person. It's a character. Like it's this, and it's a stoner character that in the short film he pulled a bong in the first 10 seconds of the short film. So it's like the cannabis has been ingrained in the character forever. And, we get two things we get credited for most out of the show is dealing bravely with, issues of mental health and normalizing cannabis, right? Normalizing cannabis in content. Because it's like with alcohol, right? If you see 2 characters in a movie go to a bar, you don't see them then start making dicks of themselves and throwing up and they're just there.
Yeah.
Whereas as soon as you bring cannabis in, traditionally in Hollywood, then you got to outcome all the stoner cliches, and that kind of reaffirm this idea that cannabis users are, vague, loser bums and not forgetful and stuff. When I'm a very highly functioning stoner.
Yep.
I can tell you guys
As we are too. We care, everything you're saying, we talk about mental health so much. So we go from comedy to having serious conversations about how we're healing. Often we're literally what intention are we setting for this blunt? We gotta we're making shit happen for our podcast and everything. And look, we have you on. I think we set that intention last time we smoked a blunt. And so we love all of that. Normalizing cannabis. We post cannabis content all over, which is it gets censored, but it's you can be a badass, you can be a hustler, you can get shit done and be an awesome person and smoke weed. I don't know why there's the stigma that you can't, that you're lazy and a bum.
Yeah.
It's those Dare commercials back in the day.
Oh my God.
They fucked the next generation over and we're fucked now.
Did you have Dare commercials in Australia?
I'm aware of Dare. You see that? This is my business card in the middle of a podcast. But if you see my business card, the image Wilfred is feel the freedom of Wilfred. And Wilfred's on a horse.
You look very free.
And it doesn't get any freer than a dog getting high while riding a horse.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
But it's all about...
That's what I aspire to be. That's my spirit animal right there.
What I'm trying to capture with that marketing image and campaign is that the feeling of freedom that comes from responsibly enjoying cannabis in a legal state cannot be understated. And anyone that's grown up in a prohibition era will always kind of be looking over their shoulder, feeling a bit like, oh, am I doing something bad here? But in future generations, it won't be that.
Yeah. We're from Boston, Massachusetts. So Boston recently legalized in 2018. And I remember the shift I still bought from, street dealers because I'm a trash raccoon. But
we liked those low prices. We were
you can't beat buying in bulk. But I remember still being so scared of having cannabis out in public, and I would have to remember that it's legal, and there is nothing like you said, coming to freaking California, running into a dispensary and then smoking immediately
outside. I remember I came here right across from the Hollywood Improv. There's I think it's the Improv, yeah. There's a dispensary or whatever. I grabbed a bunch of pre-rolls, smoked, went over, and then got on stage. And I was smoking outside and just talking to people. And I was like, this is the life. Yeah. Weed, comedy, the sunshine. You don't get anything better than that. Yeah. We're in Miami, so it's not legal there. So we don't smoke there, of course. Yeah.
But you got the Delta 8. But you know what? When I was, as I said, I was just in Florida for 6 months. So I was smoking only Delta 8 for 6 months.
Oh, you were being responsible.
And I didn't know anyone. I was there for my family.
We got you next time.
So we're on the satellite, thanks. But when I did come back to California, and I was like, oh, shit, I remember. I got to say, I haven't smoked a lot of Delta 8 since I've been back in California.
You're smoking the real stuff.
The good.
The good girls.
I think hearing about Delta 8, though, like you said, people don't get as paranoid and they can focus. They find they get more work done.
Yeah. There was a study
appealing.
done from maybe it was Boston. It was a big university that did these studies. They asked a lot of people who smoked Delta 8 and the experiences difference between cannabis THC and D8 THC. And overwhelmingly, they said they didn't get paranoid, or definitely as paranoid, or paranoid at all. And also, they were more productive. I have some Delta 8 gummies, and they don't put you on your ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've had some before. I love them.
Yeah, but because of course Delta 8 comes from the male plant, the hemp plant, and cannabis traditionally has come from THC has come from the female cannabis. So it's a weird kind of situation where, I don't know, there's some crossover themes with this, the modern world, with this changing of gender into the THC world, right? So basically you've got hemp, a male plant where you can extract, it's got such a small amount of THC in it that you can extract it out in the same way you do THC gummies. And then what you're doing is you're making the male plant THC, right, for the first time ever. People are getting high from the male plant, where it's always been the female plant. But Delta 8 is banned in California.
What?
Because the weed...
Because it's a male plant. It's not very inclusive, right?
Do you think it's banned because the weed industry makes so much money they don't want...
It is exactly... You're halfway there, but they're not making enough money. That's why. Because the California government's squeezing the life out of legitimate cannabis companies, right?
Here.
So what happens is they're like, fuck, we don't need another competition. Companies are dying here, right? They're strangling the life out of them. And they're pleading. They're saying, I read a letter on behalf of the cannabis companies, legacy cannabis companies in California recently to the government saying words to the effect of, we're going to stop supporting you soon. We're going to turn on you if you don't just cut us some slack here and at least limit some of these restrictive taxes and all this kind of stuff, right? Because they're just killing the legitimate cannabis industry.
Yeah.
So of course, I understand it. It's a territorial thing. Mm-hmm. There's cloud over Delta 8. There's this cloud of suspicion, bad operators. But when I've had conversations with people that have tried to be critical of Delta 8, they're talking about the process of extraction, saying that it's not safe or whatever. But if it is safe, as all our products are, with COAs attached to every QR code on every pack, if it is done safe, and we do everything by the California standard with packaging and everything, we make sure that everything is done above the board and done very well. There's no different from creating gummies that are made out of cannabis. The extraction process is exactly the same or very similar. So I do think it is definitely a territorial thing where the cannabis industry has said, fuck off, we're full.
Yeah.
Leave us be.
So what if you were working in LA and you'd smoked weed, what made you go for Delta 8 if it's not available in if you can't do it in California over cannabis?
My life is very amazing, pretty amazing story really. But what's happened is I was trapped over in Spain during Spain had the most intense lockdowns during the pandemic at one point.
Oh, wow.
And I was trapped there with my family. and my cannabis operation in California, my partnership I was in the middle of, stalled. There was a big problem with it. So for the company to survive, I pivoted onto these hemp CBD smokes, right? And so I actually started, for the first time I was able to sell, CBD cigarettes, good quality ones, and people could get them to their door. And so I got into the CBD game that way. And Delta 8 was a natural progression from that, right? So everyone, and people have been talking to me about it for a while, and I was very skeptical to begin with, and I probably came to the Delta 8 game a bit late. But now that I see that it's medicine for a lot of people as much as cannabis is, there are people in states that have no legal cannabis in any way, and they're now getting this product to them. So that to me, as far as I know, I heard there's another celebrity brand getting into the Delta 8 space, or one. As far as I know, I'm the only celebrity brand in that space. But I've come through from the ground up.
I was gonna say you said you started late, but you have something that a lot of those brands wouldn't, and it's you. You know what I mean? It's like the Wilfred brand, that character. So you have that audience already.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still a tough market to enter because as I say, it's a flooded market. And all the power belongs to the distributors. It's all about, doesn't matter how big your brand is, it's how many shops you're in and who's buying it, how many units you're selling. So, I mean, and these guys who are making all that money and have those big distribution channels, they don't want to just necessarily share it. If they're already killing it, they're already killing it. But, and now every market's a bit different, right? And so now I'm in the cannabis space as a multi-state operator, right? So we got Oklahoma, cannabis in Oklahoma. We haven't got it on the shelves yet, but in Oregon, we're about to. I'm close to inking something in Nevada, and I've got 3 dispensaries lined up to carry us. And I'm back here now, that's why I'm here, to re-establish the Wilfred brand in California where it started, the cannabis brand. And I've gone this full circle where I've actually gotten into the hemp game and I've into the Delta 8, and now I've come back to, because also I'm a brand, right? So when brands are powerful, I'm aware, but only when the market's a certain way. When I had 6 brand licensing agreements in negotiation with 6 different states when the pandemic really took hold, and everyone just went, holy shit, we just got to hold on to what we got. We don't want no new partnerships right now, right?
That was so hard.
And then remember when it happened, when it was like, guess what? You're not going to believe it. It's a necessary item. Everyone's like, yeah, it's necessary. And it was like, you're only allowed to go to the doctor, to Ralph's, and to the dispensary. There's the only 3 places you can
and the
go
liquor
to.
store. Didn't they give liquor stores as a necessity?
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
Those were the good old days.
But then what happened was anyone that could grow weed could sell it. They didn't need no brand. You see, I'm growing it, I'm selling it because it was a necessity. And everyone was like staying home, locked down, smoking a lot of weed.
Yeah.
But then now there's a surplus of...
We were smoking a lot of weed.
Me too.
A lot of weed.
Like 8 ounces a month. Some crazy stuff.
Was it like for you where there was times where rather than feel like you're locked down when you're high, it's like you're on some spaceship and on some adventure, like this party, this like
absolutely.
disco.
We would put like movie marathons on. We would do we'd play games. I don't know. We were
having fun.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on.
If you got good company, being locked down can
We actually met each other the first week of the
pandemic.
shutdown.
Really?
Yeah.
So we went through the quarantine having just met each other.
And being roommates.
Yeah.
Wow.
In a place that had no living room. So the living room was my bedroom. So we would just hang out in my bedroom. We ended up with my brother here. We ended up getting COVID. We gave him COVID, so he couldn't stay at his house. So all 3 of us stayed in the same room for the for a whole month.
Wow.
And then at that point, we smoked so much and we were talking about life and getting to know each other. And I was like, let's fucking do a podcast. 2 girls, 1 blunt.
And it kind of started off as a joke, much like what you were saying about Wilfred.
Yeah, as a joke, but we just ran with it. It's crazy.
There's this higher, our consciousness, I don't know, destiny and dreams and our imagination all can come together in this special place. And cannabis definitely helps with that.
We had our spiritual awakenings pretty much during that time when we were locked down. We were doing shrooms, we were smoking, we were talking, we were healing, we were shedding parts of ourselves, ego deaths. And I don't know, we built this relationship, I guess, with weed and with each other. And it's been like really crazy. Our lives have changed so much. We were living in like a shitty broke down apartment like 2 years ago, like had to quit. Like she was working at a law office. I was at a sales office, so I was losing all my accounts. Like then weed brought us together with the podcast and doing like social media and everything, and it's been life-changing. So on the spiritual part, we've both been like...
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very happy for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, my journey with cannabis has just been like one day, and this is where I've been developing this shit for 10 years, and this is what I'm going to be doing more about. But one day I found myself, I mentioned to you earlier that my relationship with cannabis is spiritual, and I found myself asking, like, telling my therapist, hey, I went to rehab, and in between the pilot and the TV series getting picked up. So the first 2-3 seasons of Wilfred, I was completely sober from everything.
Oh, wow.
And then and everyone's like, even though I was doing the stoner thing that I'd established in Australia, everyone else was getting high, but I wasn't. When eventually I was telling my therapist, and I said, look, I'm feeling like my body is saying, my life is saying that I need to smoke some cannabis again. I said, well, let me just explain. My relationship with cannabis is spiritual. It's like when I'm even if I have a break, when I smoke cannabis again, I can be inside myself, but also step outside myself, looking in at my life in a way that helps me on my life's journey and my soul.
Absolutely.
And he said to me, look, I think you should smoke weed again. So I did, and so I was able to enjoy that last season of Wilfred high.
Oh,
a lot of
I
it.
love
So
that.
was cool.
Oh, that's
So I didn't want to
great.
finish Wilfred in America having not been high the whole damn process.
Yeah. Especially because it's a weed character.
Yeah. So this whole consciousness expanding part of cannabis is something that really, really intrigues me, and I feel like I want to, dig more into. So stay tuned. I'll talk to you again about it another time, maybe.
Yeah. Are you going to do anything like to talk about that? Like, do you have a podcast? Like,
Yeah, I'm
some
kicking
cool
up. I'm
stuff
kicking
to
something.
say.
I'm kicking one off. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Oh,
I've been
shit.
developing the TV series for years now, and it was going to be a documentary TV series, and but I then just recently decided I'm going to start out as a podcast, like as the developmental process, because rather than just like normally you'd go away for 3 months, develop a TV show, have an interview, all this sort of stuff. If I can do it in that podcast environment, and then that can hopefully springboard onto the TV series. But
absolutely.
yeah, I think I'm gonna. I've been doing a few guest spots, and I'm getting a taste for it.
Yeah, the good thing
Hell
about
yeah.
podcasting is you can kill two birds with one stone and do a video like podcast as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can put that as whatever content you want, so you get the best of
And you
both
should be able
worlds.
to you can blend the two, right?
Yeah.
So I can do all the podcast stuff, and then I can go out on the street and record stuff, and then just cut, like a television.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's we know
Absolutely.
some people who do like vlog podcasts. They'll come out with a camera and a little mic. They go do their day. They talk about whatever and they chop it. You can either watch the vlog on YouTube, or that entire audio is put into like a podcast form. So someone can follow you through your day. Like if you were talking about what you did all day, for work and everything with the Delta 8 brand, you go take them on the journey. They can see it if they want, or they can hear it if they're on their way to work or something. So it's really powerful. Podcasting is huge, and there's so much space for advertisers.
So much.
Sold.
So I still got my sales skills.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that you microdose weed. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, back in the early 90s, maybe the internet was around in its embryonic form. I certainly wasn't into it. I was singing in rock bands, and doing.
You have a musician background as
yeah.
well, yeah.
And I read in a newspaper article that scientists had discovered this. Back then, it was a receptor. And that the only purpose for this receptor that they can seem to understand was that it was there to receive cannabis, and that's obviously the cannabinoid system that we know now. But back then, this was very early, this discovery. And they said that, this article said that you only needed a small amount of THC to hit that receptor to have that experience that psychoactive event. And so that was when I went, okay, so I don't need to be packing these bowls so thickly and heavily as I was in Australia.
Just little baby hits.
Yeah, just little baby hits. And then, and also it came from honestly smoking fudge. A lot of times, when
Wait, what's fudge?
Well, it's what we'd call, the black tar that's in your pipe or
Resin?
in your
Resin.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
And I used to smoke a lot of that in the 90s. Yeah.
How are your lungs?
He's like, I don't look inwards.
It worked. It worked. And I still smoke from aluminium cans. I'm smoking from an aluminum can at home right now.
Aluminium. I love that.
Aluminium.
Sorry.
That's not the word.
We told you, we warned you, we're going to do accents or something. It might come out.
So, I know it's a bit ghetto or whatever, but I don't know what ghetto even means. You'd say bogan in Australia to like do that, but that was, I didn't have any money back then, and I knew that I could get how to get a high from it, and so.
We have
you can't get
scraped many
Not a lot of money in rock bands.
bags or grinders. We're like, we're looking at the weed at the bottom of our car, like floor. Like, what can we scrap up back in the day?
Well, the first option was always you get the bong and you would drain the bong on a dishcloth, right? That you clean it, and then all the water would go through there, and it would get all the bits of leaf and all the bits of the bud that had been pulled through that hadn't like half burnt bits.
I haven't even thought of that.
So first, the first time you scavenged like your remains was doing that, and that was like a
that's
luxury
smart.
hit. That's actually that's weed. It's just
it
dried
must
out.
smell so nasty.
Yeah. And then you'd so get the fudge
smoke
out,
that.
and then smoke the fudge, just kind of like you'd smoke, not
Put it
house.
right back into the bowl and then light it.
Ooh.
Yeah, sort of
that's
roll
harsh.
it into a ball and leave it on the edge of the pipe so it doesn't go in, and then just slowly kind of light it, and then just till it's burning.
We're getting the
There's an art
expert
to
here.
this.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a science.
See, I
Have
thought
you
we were
ever-
like scrappy when we take, roaches from joints or blunts.
No.
And we
We
scoop them out, you put it
use-
together in a new one. It's a zombie
Have you
blunt.
smoked from a toilet roll?
No.
Yeah, that's another one. That's
No?
they call it-
I feel like I
they call
didn't
that,
start smoking
in
until I could afford an actual glass piece or
Right.
something.
Now, in
Yeah.
Australia, we call them prison bongs. And basically, you get a toilet roll, and then you punch just a hole in it, and then you make out of aluminum foil. You make a little bowl in there, and then you put it in and light it, and put your hand over the end, and open it as a big ass shotgun.
Little shoddy.
Interesting.
And that's your prison bong.
That is a
Australian
prison bong indeed.
What's like the most makeshift form, thing that you've made to smoke?
A week ago, potato.
A potato.
Just for fun? Or was this for content?
No, just for fun, like practicality. Like I would lose a pipe, and I smoke generally through pipes, and I got little kids, and so I don't have bongs in the house. I don't have, dabbing machines or anything like that. I don't have any. Flour is flour, and they can't light a lighter anyway. And even if that, it's not like even if they found flour and ate it, that it would have an effect on them. It has to be to trigger it. So, So for that reason, I just make little pipes out of objects and just leave them.
Such dad engineering.
That's the ultimate dad
How to
stoner.
be a cannabis dad.
I know my kids aren't going to look at a potato up there and say, "Oh, I want that potato."
Dad
because
was
there's
smoking
potatoes down
I know.
So what do? You just drill a hole through the potato?
there. Yeah, you might just get a little utensil you can find in the kitchen and drill a hole, but kind of have it coming down from two kind of angles a bit to meet in the middle, and then I had a glass bowl that was given to me from some pipe or other that I managed to reuse and put it in there and just blow it out to get rid of that excess potato, and 3 or 4 days before the potato starts to turn, and I just did another one.
Oh, so you leave the same potato out for a couple
I did two
days.
potatoes back to back.
Oh my
The
goodness.
second potato was better because that was when I discovered I did it straight through the first time. I'm like, I got to lean down. Let's just bring in two tunnels from, you've seen that's how they did with the pyramids, right? You see those pictures and the tunnels go out. Yeah, it's like, that's how I do it.
Smart and innovative.
Stoners are the most innovative people ever.
I know. We always figure stuff out.
We will find a way to smoke. I promise you that.
That is absolutely true. Especially if you're on a trip. Let's light up.
Shall we?
I don't know. Do you have anything to light up? I do. Hell yeah. This is our third podcast of the day.
Oh, wow.
And we've been smoking since 9
whole
a.m.
day.
Did you have any other guests? Oh, yeah, you had a guest.
Yeah.
Before.
We had a cannabis influencer who also does cooking content. Eat with Mars, and then we had Malik Bazil, who's a like LA comedian. He's gonna be at Supernova, which is like the best stand-up spot in LA.
I don't know. Yeah, well,
You're gonna start comedy, right?
I'm not going to announce that yet.
Okay, we'll cut that.
We can cut that.
Oh, okay.
No, you don't have to. It's just I'm not announcing it. Yes,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really cool. So you see, I am a dad and I'm a helicopter dad. And so, you know, between running the company, which has just taken every last second, and also we've been traveling around America for 9 months.
Oh, wow.
Just
As a family? Like, are you guys like in a bus, like a tour bus?
How old are your kids?
8 and 6, and my wife is homeschooling them.
That's really cool.
Oh, wow.
And so they come with me everywhere I go. Right now, we got a monthly Airbnb in Woodland Hills where we have good friends because we lived in LA, you know, for
Previously.
10 years. Yeah, as I said, took them to Rolla, Missouri. It was down in Rolla, down there. We've been doing some Delta 8 stuff down in Missouri. So I'm trying to establish the character as like a Midwest brand as well. I'm trying to have a presence there because that area gets neglected by
It really does.
a lot of the brands.
So you could be more dominant,
Yeah,
too.
so I, you know, and then I said we went down to Florida for a while, went down there actually to, you know, do some business that didn't work out. You know, there's so many potential partnerships you go into in this business that almost happen, don't happen. You can go so far down the road. As I say, time wasters come in all different shapes and sizes, right? And there's just actually no way of knowing by the end who is the time waster and who's not. But there are a lot in the cannabis world, and that's, I guess, one of the downsides of that cannabis world is that people tend to get excited about things and talk about doing things that then they don't follow up on.
Especially in Florida and specifically like the Miami area.
Everyone's a scammer. So like everyone will like hustle. They're like, I got this and this is like what the reach will be and this is what we can build together. Then they ghost you, or it's like completely the opposite.
Yeah.
Like everyone flexes that they have like money to invest or do whatever. But we've been like, we've had cannabis brands too, like burn us with weed and stuff, and like things that they have agreed. Like, hey, this is exactly what we'll do for exchange of X, Y, and Z.
Right.
So it's like hard.
Well,
especially we're new to it. So it's like, not only do you have to be a podcaster or whatever, we're like trying to do the business side of the podcast, the marketing, like the operations, the talking to people.
You're in a very similar situation to me. And I just think that, I don't know, there's sometimes an advantage to coming in completely fresh and naive because you got your common sense bullshit detector, right? And as long as you got your bullshit detector, your common sense factor, then eventually, you know, I mean, people are going to still fuck you over.
Yeah.
And you know, that still happens to me. But, you know, I've used my, I mean, I never thought I'd become a businessman the way I have with this company. I was just always the talented creative, you know. I was at first I was the crazy drunk actor. Then I was the smarter writer as well. And then I became the producer. And then I'm now the CEO of this kind of cannabis. I'm trying to be a mogul, you know.
It's a pretty big come up.
So I've had to learn about business in a way that, you know how it happened? When I first came to enter the business, which is when I met Andy, I almost went into the first couple of contracts I nearly went into. I looked at them and read them, and I'd read a few contracts over the years, and I said, this remind me too much of my Hollywood contracts. I can't do this kind of shit again.
Oh, no.
I got one window, one opportunity here. I got this brand. I need to leave a financial legacy as well as a creative legacy. And you know, when you first come to Hollywood, I'm not the first person to come out the other side of it. Not that much better off, you know. So I've really had to bootstrap this company. I sold my apartment to do it, you know, bootstrap this company to make it like that. You know, that's why I said to you, I got a manufacturing license in California. I procured the flower. I designed the packaging. I went from place to place because every time I went, okay, someone said, you got to pay me this amount to do it. I'm like, okay, could I do it? Yeah. So I would go and do it. Right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I just saved myself $1,500. Okay. And then the next thing, you can pay me to do this. And it's like, oh, is there another way? So that's why I got to know every bit of the business.
That's good though.
I think that's what makes, like, that's how you hustle. You know what I mean? You like wearing all of those hats and being able to be so adaptable to like switch different roles and then take all of those experiences from every role that you've had and be able to build like the brand. It's only gonna grow from there.
It sounds like you guys are speaking from the same hymn book.
We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah.
And we're young too. So we're like, I feel for us too, because we do like 25?
I forget that I've got a grey beard now. You know,
There's no lying. Yeah, she's 23. I'm 28.
Cool.
And we
Congrats.
do like the social media aspect. And a lot of those people who are doing that we're like kind of coming up with, they started when they were 18, 16, or these people have been doing it forever. And so we're like coming into, like, we just started to go to LA and like be in those rooms and have those conversations, and it's all happening at once.
Well, thank you so much for
we had a little
coming on
technical
the
difficulties,
podcast.
but we're gonna wrap it up. This has been a pleasure. It's been great, like getting to know you and meeting you. I love your vibe, your mindset. I love what you're doing.
We wish you the best. I love your cigarette packages for the
she's
hemp.
obsessed with that.
I think
this
it's
is
so
camera.
cute.
This is the our Wilfred CBD smokes. It's 100% organic, smokable hemp flower, 80 to 100 milligrams of CBD per smoke. So it's very high CBD levels compared to other brands. And smoking it goes directly into your bloodstream. So that's great. And then I've got this Delta 8 flower. You know, I've got Delta 8 blunts, a couple of other Delta 8 products that, you know, I'll let you go and see. WilfredCBD.com, and shipping to your door in most US states. You know, some people say Delta 8 is weed light. They say it like it's a bad thing, but to me, there's a time for that, and that's it's if you want to have less paranoia and have higher productivity, you got to give this a try. WilfredCBD.com.